It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hi, this is Gary Kay. We are coming to you live. This is rAVe TV, our weekly TV show. But during trade shows, we do a rAVe TV episode every day of every show. So this is ISE in Barcelona. We're coming to you live from Barcelona, Spain. And this is the ISE show, Integrated Systems Europe. My co-host, Steph Beckett, is on the show floor right now. And as soon as I finish my segment, we're going to go to Steph, who's doing a live show floor tour for you of a couple of the halls here at ISE. This is a big show. Almost 1,000 exhibitors. It's the biggest AV show in the industry. Now, for those of you who don't know ISE, by the way, I'm here in the AVI SPL booth. AVI SPL, among other things, in addition to VR, they're showing XR set technology and collaboration all over the place. Thanks to AVI, shout out to AVI SPL for letting us do rAVe TV live here in the show floor. We are live on ravepubs.com, ravepubs.com/ISE. On Instagram, we're live on Facebook, we're live on LinkedIn, coming to you live from ISE. As I said, Steph Beckett, this is Gary Kay. Steph Beckett will be doing a live show floor tour for you today. But in the meantime, I want to open up the show and say welcome to our regular viewers of rAVe TV. We're going to be doing a live show every day, right around noon local time, and we'll rebroadcast it at noon East Coast time in the United States for our US viewers. So we're here in Europe. We are 6 hours ahead of you right now. And a couple of things that I've noticed on the show floor. People often ask me, like, what's going on the show floor and what I should be watching out for. Some notes. Samsung introduced a 21 by 9 LCD display format here at the show. That's a really cool thing that I've seen here on the show floor. Lots of new projection technology. Record year of new projection launches here. Including Epson introducing 12 new projectors on the show floor. One of them is really cool. It's a speaker bar format, and it's 4K native resolution from 4 inches away from the wall, as you can see here. I'm showing it on the screen now. 4 inches away from the wall, it's projecting a 120-inch image. So that's pretty cool. Not a whole lot of products can do that in native 4K. The 21 by 9 display from Samsung is in their booth. And there's been some really cool stuff introduced here at the show. We're going to kind of tease new products each day that we're seeing on the show floor. But first, I want to thank all of you for continuing to be loyal watchers of rAVe TV. And we want you to comment, and we'll comment back about what you think about what you're seeing here on the show floor. You can see all of our coverage at ravepubs.com/ISE. And of course, scan the QR code that you're seeing on the screen, and you can register for our ISE replay, which is in 2 weeks from tomorrow. We will curate the best coverage of ISE, and we'll actually curate the best coverage we've seen at ISE and play it back for you for a couple of days. Steph Beckett will host that. But we're going to do something different here today. We're going to bring on guests that are going to be with us live here at ISE. And so, what do you think? Should we do the guests? What do you think? All right. I rallied a couple of people to join us here on rAVe TV live today. So I have Michael Ketka. Did I say that right? Kotka.
Very good.
Who's with Macom, which is in Europe. They're the largest systems design firm, and they were just purchased by a company that I think you need to learn about, because they were just purchased by a smart building company, or a building company, I should say, that builds buildings, and they're trying to build smart buildings, which is, Michael, probably one of the reasons why they purchased you, right?
Yeah, absolutely it is. So Drees and Sommer actually are a construction consultancy company and project management firm, and with us, joining forces with them, we're now actually able to deliver the entire smart building portfolio throughout the entire space, not just AV and IT, but throughout the entire construction process. So it's amazing and really, really interesting for us, and exciting times ahead.
So design consulting firms have a lot of clout globally and influence technology, I would say, not just decision making, but also trends. So I want to talk to you about that in just a moment. But I also want to introduce Lila Hedda Jensen, who is the head of Zeta Display. Good morning, how are you?
Morning. I'm good.
I appreciate you being on rAVe TV. This is your first time being on rAVe TV, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, first time.
Yeah. So I asked both of you to join for different reasons. Obviously, you're both influencers in the industry. Lila, obviously on the digital signage side. If you don't know who Zeta Displays is, Zeta Displays, it's ZETADisplay.com. And Macom, which, as I said, is a systems design consulting firm, is at Macom, MACAM.de, okay, because they're in Germany. Although you're headquartered in Germany, you're in the UK. So tell us, why would a building company, a company that designs buildings, meaning they design, corporate buildings, and why would they buy you? What are they getting at?
Essentially, it is to support the entire workflow from a project construction and consulting perspective. From the very beginning, when we talk about workflow processes, how to actually design a space and bring in the technology so that the technology and workflow processes actually come together to create a user journey that's actually fit for purpose. And we bring in the expertise from an AV and IT perspective, and joining together forces with Drace and Sommer from a workflow and project management perspective makes absolute sense to deliver the best experience for our clients from a consultancy and construction management point of view.
I mean, it definitely solves the problem that we've always had, where we're going into the job a lot of times late. Too late to do the right kind of AV, especially audio and acoustics. A lot of times, a lot of your business has probably been fixing acoustical challenges.
It is, absolutely. And again, talking about the user experience, I believe it's key that you bring in the right people with the right expertise right at the beginning, at the outset of a project, rather than too late, in order to solve, lighting issues, acoustics issues, make sure that, again, the rooms are fit for purpose, camera angles, getting that all right, and this is, what we are there for.
Well, as you can see, I mean, we got Google over our shoulder here. We're here in AVI SPL's booth. Obviously, you must work with AVI SPL. I'm sure they bid on a lot of the projects that you design. I mean, Google, whenever you have a Google at your show, your show is hit the big time, right? I mean, Google's not a small brand. But Google's all about experiences. One of the things that I love about digital signage is it brings engagement wherever it is. I mean, that's really at the core of digital signage. And I know that you already use a lot of digital signage in what you do. But I'm kind of curious, because you have an interesting view of digital signage in the position that you're in, because you're in the content side in a lot of ways, and the creative side. And I see the future of digital signage about all levels of engagement and immersion in advertising as a big growth opportunity. I'd love to get your perspective.
Yes, that's correct. But advertisement also comes down to the target group. How do you perceive the content? It needs to be targeted to the right person. So you need to understand your customer, and you need to understand your employee, because it could also be corporate communication. So how do you create it to make an engagement or achieving something and getting the person to stop and stay and absorb or engage with either the content or an experience that they have, and then make them to create a behavior, either to buy something or to feel welcome, building a culture if it's towards your employee. Yep. Yeah,
it's funny that hearing you say that, because as you know, I teach advertising at the University of North Carolina, and one of the things we talk about often is that you can build the greatest ad ever, but if you target it the wrong audience, no one's ever going to see it or care about it, right? See, it's interesting you talk about that, because part of that journey to capture the customer and the audience properly is empathizing with them and understanding what they really want to see.
Yeah. And also how you trigger them. Because you also need to understand, how do I trigger them? What is the gender? If you have an advertisement for a woman done the correct way, you will target her, and then she will go and buy the thing. If you have it for a man, you need to do a different kind of advertisement. But also if you have static advertisement, not much happens. If you have a dynamic content, you will increase your sales by 245%. So you can by engaging people, you will make them have a behavior and do the things that you actually want them to do.
It's a really good point.
Push them in the way.
It's a really good point. And I think that's an area where you walk around the show floor and there's a lot of hardware companies making digital signage displays with terrible content.
Yes, it's all about the content.
It is. I mean, it really doesn't matter without the content.
And the customer wants to achieve something, and you have to fulfill that need, whatever that is. Yeah.
So I'm curious as to, I know that your job, a customer comes in and says, we want to build a facility, we want to build an office that has 10 meeting rooms, and we have some huddle spaces, and we have a classroom. Where do you start? I'm curious. This is kind of a trick question, because historically I think a lot of companies start with the technology, and I'm hoping that you start with the human interface and how they're actually using the space.
Precisely. So, well, enough said, essentially. What we start with typically is some sort of strategy and, again, the user journey. So what does the user want to achieve with the buildings and the workflow processes that they, sort of are delivering? From that, we typically move on to a more detailed concept piece, and that can be technology focused, or it can be more a little bit, user experience focused as well, before we actually start digging into the deep technology and the hardware bits and pieces. So it's all about understanding the user, the client as such, and what they want to achieve, essentially.
And how deeply do you work with the manufacturers that are providing the gear? Because I'm sure that you run into problems where you're like, I wish this product did this, or I wish there was a product that did this. Do you consult for them? Do you bring them in the process so they can build better products? Yeah, absolutely. So we do workshops together with them as well, where we obviously report back our experience from client, our feedback. We do also do testing, end-to-end solutions, obviously, because we want to make sure that the solutions that we're actually proposing to clients actually do work, of course. And it may sound like a no-brainer, but it really isn't, because with the advent of hybrid working and USB and UCC and all that wonderful stuff, there was a lot of challenges that were actually introduced by that, which are now sort of solved. But still, obviously it is key to make sure that an end-to-end solution is actually tested properly. So one of the things we were talking about offline is I had asked your opinion of where you see the future of our market. And one of the things you pointed to is AR and VR and the impact that's going to have. I'm going to come back to you. But this is a challenge for you, because this is all about content. I mean, you can build a killer VR experience, but once you've done it once, it kind of gets boring. So how do you addressing sort of that future segment of the market?
When you look at AI, it's also about, it talks to me personally and individually instead of to the masses. And content is so important that it speaks to me. So that's where we want to improve on having the AI that can do that.
And do you have is there a typical sweet spot for your organization? Are you best for retail? Are you best for experiential? Where do you see where Zeta Displays shines?
We're very good because we have a concept team and a concept where we do customer journey. So we take the customer and learn, we do a workshop and understand the customer, what they want to achieve and what problem we're solving. And then we take them through the whole customer journey. And then every customer journey has different zones and what they want to achieve in each zone. And then we create the right content to that with the right display or device that they have. But we're not done, because then we also have the analytics based on that, which is return on investment. And then we understand, was it the right content? How did it affect? Did it achieve the target that we had to do?
We just had a guy just walk right in front of the camera twice. But that's what happens when you're live. You just got to deal with that kind of stuff. I was like, wait a minute, this guy just did this twice. So, and ultimately the call to action there feeds whatever it is they're actually wanting to do. So it's interesting that you have that deep relationship with the customer. Does that sometimes you have a problem working with integrators in that case because they feel like you're trying to take over the client? Or how's that relationship with the integrators? How does that affect?
We are a full service provider. So we have our own software, creating advanced software. Together, are we also an integrator? So we do deployment as well. We have the content, where we have lots of art directors that create the content. We have a concept team that understands the customer needs, and then we deploy it globally. So we are a turnkey provider. We do it all.
And it's interesting because I feel like that's the part of digital signage that is the weakest in our industry, right? Is that we do a really good job with the hardware and not a really good job with the content. Zeta Display, you need to check them out, zetadisplay.com. AR, VR, what else should we be watching for here at ISE?
Well, I think traditionally, there is going to be a lot of improvements in the unified communication and collaboration space. I think we'll probably see not the real big thing at the show, but smaller improvements, particularly around UCC peripherals, video bars, cameras, artificial intelligence. So, yes, definitely. So we will see that to make it easier and more intuitive for the user and more high quality as well.
Well, I appreciate. Oh, go ahead.
One thing, because we also need to think about Generation X, which are the youngsters, and they wanna look at they're on their mobile.
Gen Z, you mean?
Yeah. Z. Yeah. Thank you very much. So they want to do everything on their mobile phone. They want to create their content like they do their Facebook or their Instagram. So we need to think in a different way than we've done. We're too old-fashioned, right? We need to start moving into that world.
Yeah, I'm even older fashioned, and I'm actually old enough to be a Gen X. I wish I was Gen Z, but yeah, Gen Z are our kids out there, and they're Gen Z that is right about 26 and under right now. It's funny. We want to build bigger. We love bigger, higher resolution displays. We put them in our living room. We mount them in the theaters, and our kids are watching TV on this inside that room. They're literally watching TV on this device.
And that's why the mobile is so important to connect with that. We
Yep.
do that with our software and everything else, so they can control with it, they can play games and so forth. Yeah.
I appreciate you both being here. The insight was amazing. ZetaDisplay.com, Macam, MACAM.de, because they're based in Germany. Congratulations on your success and the new acquisition. And best of luck. I mean, congratulations on what you're doing for the industry.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. It's all about the experience and engagement.
And the future of digital signage is advertising, and we have another guest coming on here. The keynote speaker tonight here at ISE 2023 is, come on here, BK Johansson. BK, how are you doing?
I am awesome, thank you. How are you, Gary?
I'm doing well. Listen, you're working for one of the hottest companies on the globe right now, Epic Games, headquartered in Cary, North Carolina, which is 10 minutes away from us, 15 minutes away from us. Has a product called Unreal Engine.
Yes.
Zoom in on this Unreal Engine logo here. This is one of the coolest things. And Unreal Engine, if you've ever gone to Disney and ridden any of the virtual rides, most specifically the Millennium Falcon and Rise of the Resistance, you have seen Unreal Engine because they're the ones driving the content that immerses you. And many of the Disney Plus TV shows, including Mandalorian and XR set technologies, are being driven by Unreal Engine. What the heck is it?
Well, it is the most powerful, probably, real-time render engine on the planet.
Yep.
So it is, but it's more than that. It's more than just a tool. It's a platform. So it was created as a game engine. It powers our game. It powers Fortnite.
By the way, Fortnite, if you don't know what it is, ask anyone younger than you. If you're watching this and don't know what it is, just ask anyone younger than you. We're going to get back to that in just a second, but yeah.
Yes. So it was made basically to make our own games.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of seen as, because it was a platform, we also licensed it out to other game developers, and they had to have the ability to do some customization of it. So it was kind of always in our nature that we said, well, it's an open source product. So anybody can adapt it to their needs. And then it started growing within other industries. And particularly broadcast was early on. They always had the real-time need, right?
Yeah.
So they had to have something that was adapting and changing on the fly. They had to be able to send data to it. They had to be able to send tracking information from cameras, etc. So they said, hey, this is something new. This offers us a fidelity, a quality that can't be matched really with any of the tools that they were currently using. So we saw kind of an adoption happening early on there, but then we've seen adoption happening in industries that has not been using real-time before. Architecture, that has been using a lot of traditional DCCs to do visualizations of buildings or cities, and all of a sudden they use a real-time tool, and it changes that entire process and the entire kind of workflow and how to get there. And then all of a sudden, they also sit on amazing digital assets afterwards. They're like, who knew? Now we have a digital twin of our building, and it's not even built yet.
They built the digital twin to visualize what the buildings are going to look like. Once they get the building built, they now have a digital twin of the building that they just built because it was used as.
And then all of a sudden, they're realizing these opportunities that they did not even think about, right? I mean, just something as simple as where do I go to this place is like, it's right there. You can put it into a display in the reception.
Yeah, I see even I mean, I'm sure you see way more than me, but I even see like, it's interesting. One of my first questions to you was like, okay, we understand how Unreal Engine works in XR set technology because it's generating virtual sets. Yeah. And one of the things you have to have is you have to have this amazing amount of processing to be able to do that in real time. So if I slightly move, the background's got to readjust for where I am. Yeah. That's can't do that on a MacBook Pro.
Right.
But so therefore, that's what you're providing. And my first question was, what outside of XR sets, what are the applications? You just mentioned one, visualizing a building before it's built, so that you can give the police department and the fire department maps of your building, so that when they're on the way there, think about this: firemen could be wearing a VR headset. They're in the truck driving there, and they're actually making their way. The fire's on the 6th floor. They're actually visualizing how to get to the 6th floor, so when they get there, they know how to get to the 6th floor. I know that sounds crazy, but I see that.
It kind of does, right? It sounds a bit sci-fi, but the reality is that we have the tech. Yeah. The tech is here today, and we even have a lot of the assets. So it's becoming much less sci-fi. Yeah. We still have a bit way to go till we get to the place where we're actually utilizing a lot of these things in an efficient way. But we're seeing a lot of people that are adopting real time also for different reasons, just because it's faster, it's more efficient, it enables a creativity that they cannot harvest when they're working in slow tools. Right. And we're seeing that a lot, for instance, within film, right? Within film, one thing is that you have much more fidelity in terms of what you can change and do on the fly, but the fact that you can bring producer, a director, a talent into the same environment with creatives and actually see what, everybody's seeing the same thing, then all of a sudden you can have ideas that you can test out on the fly. You can work
to build the set you're virtually building.
Well, without a director having to explain something they see in their mind to a creative who has to try to interpret that and say, I'll come back in 3 weeks. Was this what you meant? Instead, either you do it right there and then, or I'll show you something tomorrow. And this changes the process profoundly, right? So within film and a lot of the other industries that hasn't used a lot of real time before, we're seeing that you have to front load the workflow rather than what they're used to, which is a lot happening after the fact, and everything happens in post. Well, instead, you'd front load it, you move it to the front, which enables you to actually increase the quality because you're working faster. You're not trying to polish something to become as close to what you wanted as possible. You're actually making it what you want before you even shoot it. That's right. So I think there's a lot of things happening out there today. We're immensely proud of being part of that journey. But it's also really important for us that we are still a game company. Yeah. We are still producing and distributing games and making game technology. And then at the same time, we want our technology to be available and accessible and used within other industries. But we need industry professionals in those industries to actually help do that. So we're working a lot with different partners, and that's a really core objective for us. It's a lot of why I'm here at ISE, is to work with partners, to find new partners, to figure out how do we best support them and make them successful within their respective industries.
Yeah, and it's starting to make a lot more sense to me now, because I was just talking to Michael, who is with a design consulting firm, and they were purchased by a company that builds buildings now, smart buildings. Right. So you need to talk to him about visualizing those buildings so that before they ever get built. It's totally starting to make sense to me now. Last question for you, though. It's no longer a secret that Apple's building a VR, AR, XR, MR headset, some kind of mixed reality headset. Are we going to get, one thing that blew me away was seeing Fortnite on a mobile phone. That blew me away. That was critical. I remember 10 years ago when Apple started the gaming on the iPhone, thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to kill the set-top box market of gaming, and everyone I knew that was playing in set-top box was like, no way, they can't do the processing. All of a sudden, Fortnite, you could play it on your phone. Yeah. Blew everybody away. Are we going to see a marry between, with Apple doing what they're doing with mixed reality and you're doing what you're doing, Are we getting closer to being able to kind of visualize and virtualize things almost on the fly in real time?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that we're, mixed reality and virtual reality has had a lot of kind of challenges growing up. There's the challenge of adoption in general, right? And it's a little bit similar to how, it took a while before 4K took off because there weren't enough 4K TVs out, so nobody really bothered to make content for it. We've had the same kind of challenge in VR. I do see that it's inevitable. It will happen. Once you have experienced the immersiveness of VR, you will understand that this has a value. There is an amazing example. We had an event we call UE Fest where we invite different users from different industries together just to share their knowledge and how they're using Unreal. And we had a company from Utah come and show us how they made a wingsuit simulator in Unreal.
Yeah, so those are the people that jump off the cliffs and just fly on their own.
Yes.
Yeah, with these big wingsuits.
Never, ever, ever jump off a cliff, okay? Wingsuit or not. I probably wouldn't even dare to do this simulator. It is so realistic and intense that it's crazy. They used Unreal Engine for that, right? They actually did. They used several of our tools. So they also used reality capture to do a real scan of a mountain valley. This was like in the billions of polygons, like super high resolution. So obviously when we brought out version 5 of Unreal, which had nanite, virtualized geometry, all of a sudden they're like, wow, we can run all this in real time, which means I can move my head and I'm seeing different things. If I fly closer, it increases the resolution of it. It is just so realistic, and with audio and with haptic, it is like, it's
I want to ride that. I want to ride this.
Totally should.
There's so many applications here, and I'm so excited about this. I'm excited to see your keynote because I want to see your vision. I want to see what Unreal and Epic Games' vision is for all of this. And I really appreciate you joining me today. It's been sort of an honor and a gift to have you on rAVe TV. We're big fans.
Pleasure.
You're only about 15 minutes away from our office, too, Epic Games. They actually Epic Games is growing so fast, they bought a whole shopping mall, and they're tearing it down and rebuilding it as their headquarters in Cary. I don't know if you knew that or not yet, but...
Hello, everyone who's watching this.
Hi, this is Gary Kay. We are coming to you live. This is rAVe.
Thanks, Gary. Obviously, Steph Beckett here. We're here doing rAVe TV at ISE 2023 here in Barcelona. Obviously, so excited to be here. This part is pre-recorded, so if you're looking at the show floor and seeing that it's not really busy, I'm actually here before it technically opens today. Just wanted to make sure I was able to get around quickly and show you guys as many stands as possible here on the ISE show floor. I only have about 10 to 15 minutes, so I'm going to try to boot, scoot, and boogie like all the way around the show really quickly. So we're starting here in Hall 2. Going to show you guys just a few of me and Gary's favorite stands. First of all, we have Logitech. Obviously, huge fan of this company and their personal collaboration solutions. They're showing their Logi docks over here. These are kind of both a professional and consumer product, but they're showing their professional and corporate versions of this right now, so you can still kind of have your own collaboration space, even if you work in an office. So they have the Logi dock in front, a few of their keyboards and their mouses, as well as their Zone headset over here, a Logitech Brio, and I think that's a Logitech 305 right here, but don't quote me on that. But that one I'm sure is the Brio. We have a bunch of those in the rAVe office. Continuing on, they're also showing their whiteboarding solution. This is basically a whiteboard right here that has a camera that takes everything from the whiteboard and can put it basically on a display if you're in a meeting, or kind of show for people who are at home. It's kind of like a hybrid work solution. Something else that I really like that they did was that they put a call box right in their stand, which is very, very cool. A lot of us have those in our co-working spaces. We do at rAVe. So basically they're showing everything that they can put in one of these boxes. So continuing on here, We're going to walk over here to rAVe. This is another one of my favorite companies when it comes to collaboration. rAVe kind of made a big splash in the UCC scene because of its microphone mist technology. They have speaker bars that are not only a speaker bar, but they function as a microphone as well, because their speaker bar throws out little sensors to everyone in a certain size room and can pick them up no matter where they are in the room. So over here is their HDL 300. I've talked about this before. This is for a little bit of bigger conference rooms. They have a few partnerships with a few different companies, like Jabra over here. Oh yeah, and look, we can see that we're in a meeting. I don't know who that is over there, but I'm gonna wave. So we are going to continue over here. Show floor is getting a little busier now. I think it just opened. So we're going to walk, obviously Microsoft is over here. Microsoft Teams is really big, as well as Microsoft Teams Front Row, which is for a little bit of wider displays. It's kind of for those hybrid situations where everyone has like equal real estate on the display, which is very big. We're going to walk over here this way. Jabra is showing its Panicast 50, another solution that is great for any type of hybrid meeting. We're going to take a peek in here. As you can see, this is two Panicast 50 stacked on top of each other. This is one of those solutions that is camera, it is microphone, and it is speaker. So that is one of those all-in-one solutions. I think it's made for more of a small to medium room, and as you can see, it's picked my face up and Emily's, and it is showing us equal real estate on the screen right now. So that was a perfect little example. Walking over this way, you can see Gallo Acoustics. There are some audio companies in this hall. Gallo Acoustics is really cool because their speakers are beautiful and actually really aesthetically pleasing, really big on that. Over here on this side is Zoom. I don't know if you guys have heard of that company before or anything, but they have a lot of really new things right now. So I went to Zoomtopia in November, and Zoom is actually trying to become so much more than a video collaboration company. Zoom Teams Chat, or Zoom Chat, is coming out with a lot of updates this year. They're trying to become a company that is like all-in-one collaboration. You can do everything on this platform. A lot more updates for Zoom Phone. So we're going to continue to check them out as we walk by. So yeah, Zoom is really continuing to solidify its place as the all-in-one collaboration company. Continuing on, just walking past here, Sound Control Technologies, ViewSonic over here to my left. Continuing on, I'm really excited about this Catchbox company. They were here last year as well. They are actually a really cool microphone company that's made for situations like classrooms or auditoriums where you want the audience to speak back to you. These are made to be flung around and caught, and it takes your voice from where you catch it. So they're really cool and customizable. As you can see, we're going to walk past. They're a very, very cool company. So as you can see, they have a ton of options for customization. It's pretty cool. We're going to continue on over here. Here we have ScreenBeam to my right. Known for making your personal devices connect a little easier in your meeting room. That's what ScreenBeam does. And here we have BlueJeans by Verizon, which is another conferencing and collaboration platform. Continuing on, I'm walking us over to D10. I always make it over to D10 when I'm doing these. So we're just gonna keep bebopping along. Continuing on, we have Airtame to my right, a hybrid conferencing, screen sharing, and I believe digital signage company. So continuing on, here we have D10. D10 has a very cool hybrid work solution that is called Inclusive View, which is their version of putting everyone equal real estate on the screen, whether they are in the office or working from home. D10 is also showing its D7X, but they have a dual version that is actually made for a vertical camera. So and I think it's flipped around. So I haven't seen that over here yet, but this is something that they're showing. Oh yeah, it's right over there. You can see how it has people vertically by the camera. So that is from its dual D7X. So continuing on, something cool about D10 was that they used to exclusively work with Zoom, but have recently started making products that work with Microsoft Teams as well. Continuing on here, we're going to go over by Yealink, which is another, they make more hardware that goes with basically any virtual collaboration software or platform that you could think of, from displays to headsets to phones. Yealink makes a ton of hardware solutions, so they're worth checking out as well. Continuing on. Hey. So here is Google's booth. Google is here in the UCC section of the show floor, mostly because of Google Meet. Google Meet is another video conferencing and collaboration platform, which is really big in situations like schools. Some of your companies might use it too, but schools for sure, because the lowest version of it is free. So obviously you can't beat that. So we are continuing on. We've got WebEx over here, another conferencing and collaboration platform. And continuing on, and we are pretty much back where we started. So I'm just gonna walk us over here. The show floor is definitely getting a little busier now. I'm gonna stop us right here. So the show floor has finally opened. It's starting to get really busy really quickly. And yeah, I didn't get to show you guys all the stands because this is just the UCC section in Hall 2. There's also a smart home and smart audio section over this way. But just for time's sake, I just wanted to show you a few of the conferencing and collaboration booths here. Don't worry, if you wanted to see more, we will get all of our product videos up ASAP. And we are also very active on social media showing you what each stand looks like. So thanks so much for watching rAVe TV. Don't miss it. We'll be back tomorrow on all the places we go live: YouTube, LinkedIn, ravepubs.com. And don't forget to check out all of our ISE coverage. Go to ravepubs.com/ISE. I'm Steph Beckett, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary.